Hi everyone, my name is Katie Ackland. I'm a consumer math teacher here at Agora. I started using Talking to the Text in my consumer math classes at the beginning of this school year, and I'm going to take a few minutes and show you how I use this in my classes. So in a minute, I'm going to give you a short clip of me modeling Talking to the Text in my class. I did this at the beginning of the school year, and I've done it periodically throughout the year. After that, we're going to look at a short clip where my students are then practicing talking to the text again in class. And then finally, I'll show you some short talking to the text assignments that I have built into my course.
Okay, so as I said, we are going to start off class with a talking to the text exercise. The purpose of talking to the text is to really activate your brain while you're reading. Sometimes when we read, we're just going through the motions and reading the words and decoding the words and trying to think about what does this word spell? B-U-Y-I-N-G, oh, it's the word buying, and then you just kind of say it in your head. But it's taking it to the next level is thinking about what you're reading while you're reading. Okay, so to do a nice refresher of this, for this very first slide, I am going to talk to the text for this slide completely. I'm going to do this one all by myself. I'm not actually going to write on the board because that'll slow me down a little bit, but I'm going to read, and as I'm reading, I'm going to say anything that I'm thinking about while I'm reading. Okay? And remember, you guys have your Think Aloud bookmark. Whenever you go into a Talking to the Text assignment, you can click on the bookmark and it will open up something that looks like this. And this gives you prompts or ideas in case you feel stuck, things that you can say in your Talking to the Text. So you can make a prediction. If you're picturing something in your mind, you can say that. Of course, any questions that you have would always be great things to write when you're talking to the text. If it's reminding you of something, if you're confused about something. If you're going along, and this is probably going to happen while I read this, if you're going along reading something and you realize that you just read a whole paragraph and you didn't understand what you read and you have to reread it, you can write in your Talking to the Text that you had to reread it. That's a very valid comment. That's a valid thought. If you completely understand everything that you read and you got this, no problem, then I want you to summarize and give me the big idea. Okay, so for the next, it's probably going to take me at least a minute or two to read through this and to talk out loud. You guys have nothing to do but to pay attention to what I'm doing. And then on the next slide, you guys are going to do this. Okay, and I'm going to expect everybody to give me at least one thought or comment on the next slide. Okay, here we go. So buying clothes and shopping. First thing I notice is this title up here is written in a bigger font than everything else, and it's up here at the top. So this is probably giving me an idea of what I'm going to be reading down below. So I can make a prediction that the rest of this page is going to have to do with shopping and buying clothes, just as it says. Okay, let me keep reading. Another necessary and sometimes fun expenditure is shopping for clothes. Okay, as I go through that sentence, this word expenditure jumps out at me. And I'm not sure if I know exactly what expenditure means, but when I say that word out loud, expenditure, feels like I'm saying the word spend or maybe the word expense. So I think I would write that down, that I think expenditure might have to do with spending or expenses. This can be done in many ways. You may go directly to stores to try on clothing. This way you can make sure of the fit. An alternate way to shop is by catalog or internet. The few sentences that I just read right there talk about going to the store. And I just went to the King of Prussia Mall this weekend for the first time in a long time, and it's reminding me of that. There were a lot of stores. I had to try on clothing, which I hate doing, so this is reminding me of that. And then we start talking about catalogs and internet shopping, and I actually have some catalogs on my kitchen table right now that I'm going to take a look at maybe tonight, and I might do some shopping on the internet. So this is all, I'm really forming a mental picture of what they're talking about here. This can involve shipping costs and sending back if the item does not fit. As soon as I see shipping costs, one of the catalogs I have on my table is for LL Bean, and they have an offer right now for free shipping, so that's reminding me of that. I'm going to keep reading. But as can be seen by an increase in shipping companies, this can become a viable alternative to getting in traffic. Okay, and then I see the word rule. I know from being in consumer math, whenever I see the word rule, this is going to be something related to a formula or some kind of a math topic, and this is something I want to write down and put in my notes, anything that says rule. To find the amount of sales tax equals rate of tax times total purchases. And I'm also noticing that this is written kind of funny with these parentheses, but I remember from in Unit 2, we talked about two numbers next to each other in parentheses means to multiply. Okay, anything that I'm saying outside of the text right now, you guys, those are things that I could write when I'm talking to the text. And let me keep going. S equals RP. Okay, that's a little strange. I don't know what this is all about right here, but I'm thinking maybe they're rewriting this formula but just shortening it. Sales tax is the S, the rate is the R, and the total purchases, I think that's the P. So I think that's what's going on here.
But I've modeled talking to the text for my students. I'm going to bring up another slide with a different piece of text. I'm going to read it aloud to them slowly and let them practice their own talking to the text on the whiteboard as a large group.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. In a moment, I'm going to open up the whiteboard, and I am going to read. I'll read more slowly. I'm going to read aloud to you guys this slide. And while I'm doing that, I want everybody to write at least one thing that you're thinking about while I'm reading. Okay, you can write it on the whiteboard in this white space right here, or you can put it in the chat if we run out of room. Anybody have any questions about what we're going to do here? Everybody understand? I know that was a lot of listening. Smiley faces if you've got it, if you know what we're going to do next. You're good, Tabitha? Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to expect everybody to put at least one thing on the board. Ready? And you can do this while I'm reading, or you can just listen and you can do it at the end. It's your choice. Okay, whiteboard's open. Here we go. Buying clothes. Many people check the newspaper ads before going to shop. Your money will go farther if you find items you want on sale. Example 3, buying clothes. Before you go to the mall, you're looking at ads in the paper to find out if any clothes or brands you want are on sale.
During my live session, I continued reading this text to my students. I'm going to jump now to my student responses.
Let's take a look at what some of you guys wrote. A question, why would I need a skirt? That's funny. That might be what you were thinking about. If you're maybe a guy or you're a girl that doesn't like to wear skirts, maybe you can't relate to this problem because you would just never be buying a skirt. Okay, good. I like the way you underlined this. Many people check newspaper ads before going shopping. And this person's saying that they don't do that for some reason. Let me see if I can expand some of these text boxes so we can see what they say. This person says $40 is too much for pants. Good. So you're thinking about what it means. I think the jeans are a good price on sale. I think the jeans are expensive. I'd rather pay $21.99 instead of $42. Good. I would too. Lots of people think the jeans are expensive. Yeah, I agree. Almost 50% off on name brand jeans. Good. That's a good thing to realize here. So this person was doing some estimating or some quick math, or maybe this person actually got their calculator out and figured out that these were nearly 50% off. Better to buy them on sale. These prices are the same at Old Navy for jeans there. Good. So you're thinking about the stores that you shop at. The jeans are overpriced. I do think there is tax on clothing. I love this comment. And you are correct in Pennsylvania, and we have a slide about that at the end. The reason why there's tax on clothing in this word problem is because the word problems in your in this course are for students all over the country, and so we are doing sales tax problems on clothing. That's very good. Thank you for bringing that up. Predictions. I predict the jeans will get a lower price. I predict the jeans will be more. A question that I have is why she's spending that much money on just that. Good.
Okay, now that my students have seen me model talking to the text and they've practiced talking to the text in class, I'm now going to show you the talking to the text assignments that I have built into my course. Okay, so what I do is in every unit I do a couple of these. It just depends on timing and how the week works out, but usually I do one a week, maybe two a week. I create a quiz in my course, and I call it Talking to the Text. So if it was in Unit 3, it might be 3.01, Talking to the Text. It consists of one essay question, which is worth 2 points. Okay, so here's an example of one of my Talking to the Text assignments. The first bit of it is the instructions, and that's the same for all of my assignments. And then right here where it says payroll deductions and on, that's the text that would change from assignment to assignment. So here's a little bit more of the reading for this example. They're looking at a pay stub and learning how to calculate gross pay. And then this is the end right here, where you finally have the rule for calculating take-home percent of gross pay. And then this is their text box at the bottom where they would write their at least 3 things that they were thinking and wondering. Looks just like any other quiz that they've taken before. They can click Submit for Grading to submit it to me. Okay, I pulled out a couple of examples of what my kids have given me. I mean, they're all different. Some of them, like I said, write more than 3 things. Some of them write exactly 3 things. I really like this first one because I can tell the student is literally writing what they're thinking, literally, as it's coming out of their head. He or she says, okay, this looked hard. Okay, this is a lot, and I don't get it. Okay, so I think I get it. If I have net pay of $300.50, but my gross pay was $1,000.50, then I divide and I get 30%. I get it. Okay, so they were literally writing as they were reading along there. If you want to read the rest of these, you can certainly pause the recording and read them. I have some more over here. The first person wrote a whole paragraph, so sometimes I get really long responses. This person actually went out and numbered them 1, 2, 3. And another thing that I have to say about the responses that I get from Talking to the Text, you know, the students are reading, but it's helping them, but it actually helps me as well because I get a lot of questions out of Talking to the Text and things that I can then bring up in class the next day. So this person says, what are union dues? You know, I might have taken that for granted. I might have thought that all of my kids would know what union dues are. But just by reading this person's response, immediately I'll think to bring that up when we talk about it in class tomorrow and at least touch on that and say what that is. I would say that that happens with all of my Talking to the Text assignments. I get questions that I had not anticipated. So I really love that for me as a teacher. Okay, so this concludes my Talking to the Text presentation for Consumer Math. Again, my name is Katie Ackland, math teacher here at Agora. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions.